then I guess I won something for the day, to go to a NACWE meeting and as best guest. And so I was so excited that she called me that same day after being on live with her. And you all were so awesome. And it's like I felt like my baby leaped, like Elizabeth. It was like you guys were so faith-filled, talking business, talking the Lord. I was like, yeah, that's my tribe. I need to connect with those ladies. And so that's how I found you, was a transformational Tuesday. And I am God. I'm a pillar of strength to God's women. I am a life coach. I'm a recent author. Just wrote my first book. And
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. And I'm excited about that. I have learned how to be an ambassador for Christ in the midst of everything that's going on, above all circumstances. So to talk about faith forward, I'm a living testimony of it.
That's so awesome. We are so glad that you're with us today. Um, technology sometimes can be funny, and it's great that we can shift, right? And I forgot to click the button on the restream side, so that's why we weren't on Facebook yet. But we are there. We are here on Facebook. We are here on YouTube, and we are here on LinkedIn. So, Cynthia, I'm so glad. That is a great testimony that you found us just scrolling and it popped up, and that's incredible because we're here. We've been here for even before COVID times, doing lives, and since we had COVID at 5 years ago, seems sometimes like yesterday, and other times it seems like a very long time ago. We shifted our whole entire platform. It was belly to belly and face to face in rooms, which we still do that, but the whole world did a 180, and we had to think and rethink of things and how to do things. And so Beth and I got together and we're like, let's take it online. And so since 2025, we have been, not 2025, 2020. Yes, it's 2026 now. uh we've been doing Transformation Tuesdays, and at that time it was called Wellness Wednesdays, and now it's called Living Well Wednesdays. So it is, to me, it's exciting that it is working, and I'm like, yay. So we are so glad to have you here on platform. And I know you have a conversation that you have for us today. And if anybody on the Facebook side or any of our platform streams have any questions for Cynthia, if you'll just post that out there, and we'll get it to her and have her answer those. And then at the end of the conversation, she can go out there as well and see them and answer them, and we'll share your information to be able to, for them to connect with you as well. So Cynthia, thank you so much. Go ahead and take it away. Give us your presentation. Share what God has given you today, because it's something
19. And
for
she's
us. So,
inserted. She
all
shared
right,
her.
honey, I'm going to mute you there. All right, I'm going to let you take it away, Cynthia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. I just want to say thank you to Beth Copeland and her team for just allowing me the opportunity to share today. My assignment is to talk about faith forward and future focus and forgiveness. And in the scriptures that Beth chose is in Numbers 14, 8, and 9, and also Mark 11, 22 through 26, as far as we're talking about faith forward. And in Numbers, it's talking about how if the Lord is pleased with us, then he'll give us the land. And then, and when he gives us the land, that land that we go into is flowing with milk and honey, which is, of course, speaking of plenteous, no lack. So when God is pleased with us, we don't have to worry about famine, because in Psalms 37 and 19, it states that in famine that we will have abundance. So there is such a benefit to walking in obedience and living our life by faith that affords us everything that God has for us. So we don't have to be moved by what's going on in the world and all these things that are going on with the gas prices going up and food going up and everything and all this stuff that's going on around us. We do have an inheritance and we do have a covenant. And that covenant and that inheritance what gives us that blessed assurance we have. And we do that by moving in faith. And Mark, I'm just getting my scriptures out the way up front so that when I take off, you guys y'all have to stop me, put a finger up and say, hey, whoa, Cynthia, let me ask you a question here. And then Mark 11, 22 and 26, I love the very first line of that just says, have faith in God. That's enough. it takes courage, it takes tenacity, it takes grit, it takes everything to have faith in God because we had never seen him. So it takes faith to even believe in God because we've never seen him. So but whatever we ask when we pray in prayer, do we really believe that we receive it when we pray it? Sometimes we'll pray it and then we walk away and then we pick it back up, or we like, well, I prayed it, I asked, but do I really believe it? Do I really believe what I prayed for? And so what I love about Mark 11:20, 2 through 26, it says, whatever you ask in prayer, believe, believe it, and then receive it, and it's yours. Believe it, receive it, and it's yours. Is so I have to really have a belief, but that belief has to be above so strong that it's eliminating doubt. And of course, everything around us assures us, it gives us a way to where we feel doubt in some way. Something, some way we'll get something to try to place that little bit of doubt. And so, so one thing for sure is that if we believe and hold anything, if we hold anything against anybody, again, then that's unforgiveness. And so unforgiveness is that stopper, that's that plug that plugs up everything that hinders our prayers. And because our Heavenly Father forgives us our sin, that is something that He expects us to do. And one of the things that was challenging for me myself was that I thought I was walking in forgiveness until I had my chain pulled. Sometimes how God will just, um, He chastises those He loves, right? And so He says, love keeps no record of wrong. And so in walking in forgiveness, but keeping a record of wrong is unforgiveness. And then it can go over into pride and a whole bunch of other stuff. But not keeping a track of things that have happened in times past is one of the ways that I feel that unforgiveness can hold us hostage. And I see a hand going up.
Hi, this is Aisha. Yeah, so your message just it just really stands out because when we talk about possessing the land, so to speak, getting all of God's promises, doing all of the things, trusting, praying, and believing, and then you put this element of unforgiveness. Wow. How does that hinder your possession of the land? How does that hinder us getting the promises of God? That's kind of one of those questions that pops up. It's kind of an awkward juxtaposition if you think about it.
Hmm.
We're doing everything that God wants us to do. We're loving people, but there's just one little thing called unforgiveness that's peeking through.
Hmm.
I would love to hear the rest of your message. I just wanted to make that comment.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love comments because it gives me a chance to come off of my notes to a real life experience or a real life encounter. And when we think about unforgiveness, and no matter how great things are going in our life, I was reminded of a friend. My late husband and I visited some friends for a birthday party, and his friend had a really bad arthritis, like, I mean, so bad to where he could hardly walk. He was walking with a cane. And he was walking us around this beautiful home, showing us his beautiful house and his yard and his flowers. And he had this big tree that was near his fence. And at the top of his tree, he had a glove with the middle finger up on the glove, you know. And I was like, how come you have that glove like that? What he said, oh, my neighbor, he was ranting and raving about his neighbor and how much he hated his neighbor, and that's for him, and this and that and the other. And so when we went back in, I just felt the nudge to ask him if I could pray for him. But I was praying for his knee because he was walking with a cane. But what the Lord revealed was that that unforgiveness was causing him crippling arthritis to where he was walking with a cane. So here he was with a beautiful home. He had resources, he had finances, but he was losing his health behind unforgiveness. So that's just one experience or one encounter that Aisha that reminds me of how that plays out. It can play out in hindering your health or causing your health to deteriorate. But when we talk about faith forward, we know that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of not seen, right? Of things not seen. So how does that play out? And faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. And so when we think about as being business owners and in our business life, it takes faith. It takes courage to even move in faith. So I was reminded of some people like um that's in business and how they had to step over and walk over some really hard things and step out on faith in order to be who they are and who we know them to be today. So one of those people is Oprah Winfrey. You know, she started out in poverty, abuse, rejection from her first TV job, but then in the end, she built a whole media empire, right? So your past does not cancel your calling. It actually fuels your assignment, right? We think about JC Penney. We don't see them too often, but they used to be a catalog, JC Penney's. And did you guys know that JC Penney, his name is James Cash Penney? So James Cash Penney, he lost everything during the Great Depression. He suffered an emotional breakdown. But he rebuilt his company, JC Penney, and his life through faith and perseverance. Faith and perseverance. Again, that courage to keep moving, to keep going. I lose everything, but I still got to go more, right? So you can lose everything externally and still build from what remains internally. So even what's on the inside of us and all the situations and circumstances around us, loss, being a caregiver, losing someone very dear to you and trying to pick back up from that, the pain of loss. How do we do that? How do we keep rebuilding? How do we keep our businesses going in those situations? It's our faith in God. It's our faith in the sovereignty that God has. Everything's working for our good. So he knew that. It's a surprise to us, but it's not a surprise to God when these things happen in our life and when these
Cynthia,
circumstances take
can
place.
I share something? I think I thought of when you were speaking is because bad things do happen. Sometimes people are like, well, I'll get saved and I'll start going to church and life is just going to be fine and it's going to be good and everything's going to be rainbows. And that's just not life. Life is just not that way. But it's foundational. We have to build that foundation on Christ. We have to be in his word. We have to pray. We have to fellowship. Well, we don't have to. You don't have to. But foundationally, if you want to stand in those times that are hard, because you do fall back on something. And when you have that firm foundation, you're falling back on that firm foundation during those times. They're still hard. It's still, you still have to reach out and find the faith, and like you said, faith is what you're hoping for. It's not what you see. You're leaning forward to what that foundation is showing you. And so I don't know. I just thought of that when you mentioned, all the trials and where do you go from here? You have to have that firm foundation that you're standing on to fall back on. And sometimes you can go through some really hard things and you're questioning God and he's big and can take some questions. He can answer some questions and take some questions. It don't hurt his feelings that you're like, God, I need some help. Why is this happening? Can you help me out? So I've heard, don't question God. I don't think that that's questioning God. I've lost 2 babies. I almost went to jail once. Like, I'm questioning him. I need to know some questions. I need to know the answers. Is he going to answer? Maybe not. But it's a firm foundation that during those times that you're holding onto your faith, like just the hem of his garment. It wasn't the whole entire garment. It was just the hem of his garment, maybe even just a little tiny thread. Sometimes I got threads that fall off of my shirt, you know. You're just hanging on to that little tiny bit because he is a God that can take it, and he's a God that can answer, and it's that foundation, that firm foundational level. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know that all of the trials and all the various things that we go through in this life that make us want to cave in and quit, or even those times that we do quit or we stop, all of those is a trying of our faith, you know? And that trying of our faith, it works patience, but it also causes us to like be refined in that fire. You know, it causes us to come forth as gold. And it gives us something that's eternal over the externals. Because now we walk in something, we have something, we embody something on the inside of us that most people don't, because of what we walk through and because of what we stand through and because of being able to rise above that situation or that circumstance that most people, still need some assistance. That's one of the things I do in my business is I help people to and teach people how to protect their peace and reclaim their identity. Well, reclaiming your identity is who you are, who God made you to be before you were ever in your mother's womb. And so that is that part of us that causes us to stand on the rock of our salvation, which is the word. And we know that the word and Jesus is synonymous. So we need that in our business because, again, if I suffer loss in my business and I don't have the clients that I set as a guideline, I want to have, 4 new clients this month, and those 4 clients don't come in. How do I keep going? What do I do? What do I need to readjust? And a lot of times, again, that's an assessment that I have to make, which is takes me to my next thing of being future focused. In order to be future focused, I have to assess where I am. When you go into the mall that says you're here, but I got to know where I want to go. And if I don't know where I want to go, or if I don't know what I need or what I want, then how do I get there? So I can't get there without a vision. So I need to have vision for first, I need to assess where I am, and then I need to know where I want to go, but I need a vision for that. And so that again, once I assess that, then I have to be willing to let go of what's familiar and what's comfortable. Because a lot of times, you know, that leap of faith, putting my foot in the water for the water to dry up. It's like, I don't think I can walk across this river, but I got to put my feet in first in order for the water to let me go. And that taking that step of putting my feet in that water sometimes is so intimidating that you keep putting it off, and it's a year gone by and you put it off and you still know what the next step is. But sometimes, in order to leave that familiar and that comfortable place, is I have to embrace what's new. And what's new could be a new skill, it could be a new mindset, it could be a new support group. Um, you know, Again, I have to position myself and align myself with what I need to go where I want to go. But first, I need to know where I want to go. Making sense? So, so again, okay, come on, Jeanette, you have something?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about this because a few weeks ago my business was slow. I see clients for helping them through stuck patterns, right? I do body work that helps them, myofascial therapy. And business has been a little slow, yet I had another practitioner that I'm friends with went through a program where she's helping with emotional resets. So I took her class. As I'm taking her class, I have people texting me for appointments. And now I am 3 weeks later, I saw 3 new people this week where I was able to apply, and it was all uncomfortable. I was able to take some of that stuff that I learned And you know, they're coming in for help and they're nervous. And I said, listen, I have some tools and new tools and it's new to me. So I'm a little nervous too. But if we work together to find your needs together, we'll get there. And so I'm praising the Lord this week because I I'm learning new stuff, and here's that word, shift. I'm shifting into new service.
Mhm. That's good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Making the shift. And then another thing that's in that shift is letting go of stale systems. You know what's not working, but we keep on trying to make it work, make it fit because it's comfortable and it's easy. But it's not fit and it's not working. It's a stale system. I need to find what's new, what's going to work, and seek that out. And I really believe too that when we have vision and we are focused on our future, I believe that coaches, counselors, therapy, pastors, I mean, we need a host of people that can help us, mentors that can help us to get to those next steps because we don't all, each joint supply, we don't have it all. And I mean, if professional athletes know enough to have a coach and they keep having a coach, professional singers, everybody that's in a professional place that are at the top of their game, they have coaches to help get them there. Somebody that can see the blind spots and help you to maneuver past those and set that next thing or even just pull in you what's out, right? I need somebody to help, like, what do you see? Help me to go to that next place. I may have a vision, but I just don't quite know I don't know what the next step is sometimes, you know? And so that's very important is identifying again what's stopping me from having what I say I want. That's assessment again. What's stopping me? Okay, I've got this vision, I've got this, I come to understand the population of people that I'm called to serve. And then when I start serving them, I realize that there's some more skills that I need, or there's some other things that I need. So, um, so what do I need next? What is going to help me to move forward? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is there something mentally holding me back that I need more education? Is there something emotionally holding me back? Like, in my case, many years I was a people pleaser and codependent. And so I wasn't able to move forward because I was so dependent on others' validation, on what, you know, that outside acknowledgement. And so that was a hindrance to moving forward personally and professionally. And so it's like, but that spending time in the word gives that blessed assurance. Spending time with God, his presence, changing and eliminating that doubt and unbelief in those old records that come sometimes from childhood. We have those old records that keep playing over and over in our head. And it's like, you know, that's not who I am. I'm who God, you know, says I am. There's a song and it's called Faith. It's by this lady. Her name is Vanessa Bell Armstrong, but she sings this song called I have the faith to see the impossible and to do the incredible. And so that's the kind of faith. That's the kind of faith that causes us to move forward. And faith to reach the unreachable. What kind of faith is that? What kind of faith does it take to conquer anything? What kind of faith does it take to where I'm looking into the mirror of the word instead of looking at the circumstance or the situation? You know, what kind of faith is that that's going to move me forward? I believe it's the kind that we all have that's on this line because I know all of us have something that's going on in our lives that is less than lovely. And we still keep showing up with our smile, and we still are able to. It seems like the greater the circumstance, it seems like the greater the power of God flows for somebody else. And so I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I've been in places to where God has used me so mightily, and I'm coming home crying about my own situation. And I'm like, how come I'm doing? Why are you using me? How do you use me in all of these situations and circumstances? And then I'm over here having to trust you and have faith for that very thing that I need, you know? Or even when I'm something that may feel disappointing and I fail to see the lesson in it. But there is a lesson in it that's to my benefit. So that's where the trust comes in. So I have to trust that God is saying. So, but our ultimate reward to our faith is salvation. The ultimate reward to our existence is salvation. Not only for ourselves, for others. Because why? You know, he gave his life. We just celebrated Resurrection Day or Easter, right? And so the whole thing about that is that Jesus died for the sins of the world, not just Christians, not just he said he died for the sins of the world. And so that's big, you know, and sometimes we just need to be reminded of that. But that's the ultimate goal is salvations of souls. Um, let's see. And then the things that we endure in this life, Paul calls them light afflictions that cannot be compared to the glory, right? So it's like, um, and then God may say something like, my grace is sufficient for you, and all these things, and I'm like, no, it's not. It doesn't feel sufficient to me. So, but there is hope, there is faith, there is love, you know, and the greatest of it all is love. And the love that helps us to walk and live a life of walking in and having a forgiving heart is that love that perseveres, that love that never fails, that love that trust, right? So the bottom line is that love is the thing. Uh-oh, Aisha got a question up here. But love
Oh,
is
you
the
can
thing
finish your point. You go ahead
that
and finish your point. Yeah.
but love is that thing that goes that's sister to faith. We need them both in order to have a successful personal life and a successful business professional life. Those are the two things because um, John Maxwell said, if you're leading and nobody's following, you're just taking a walk. So if nobody wants what I have and nobody's following or reaching out to me, I'm just taking a walk. So I need to again do some self-assessment and figure out what that is that needs to adjust because there's always adjustments because why? We're growing from glory to glory. So there's always room. The biggest room in the world is room to grow. And so we're always growing. We're always working with each other to move our lives forward and to move other people's lives forward so that we can all benefit. As I've heard, I don't know if it was Beth that said it, but if you help enough people, you'll get what you need, you know, because everything that we need is not only just in ourselves, but in working with each other. Okay, go ahead, Aisha.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the progression of your talk, and you first, introduced the message, and then you started to focus, but you started with, as a business owner, we need to look at the metrics, we need to identify our ideal customer profile, and then we need to get a toolkit. We need to surround ourselves with people who provide us support. And then we need to focus on eliminating those I guess, people or situations that distract us that aren't beneficial for us. And then we need to start forgiving, and we need to allow God to work through us, even though He may not be working, or it may not be evidence of Him working in our own businesses. We may have struggles in our own life, but that is the great reward, because the whole purpose is that we are being used of as vessels. I just wanted to say that sort of reminds me of like what the idea kingdom entrepreneur blueprint would look like. Exactly. That would, I mean, to scale. And my question is, how important is it to entrepreneurs? And I always say we are made of different stuff. I mean, like, you couldn't, if I knew all the ingredients to being an entrepreneur, nobody could ever sell that to me. And that's the problem. We don't ever know all of the ingredients until we walk it out, right?
Right.
But how important is it to mentor and to teach and to instruct and support maybe younger entrepreneurs or younger people who feel like God has led them in a direction of, as a creative or as a clinician or as a teacher, or, in entrepreneurship? How important is it for us to like prepare people in that respect?
Well, I believe that when it comes to preparing people for entrepreneurship, number one, it's something that you have. Like I feel like that most entrepreneurs, it was like something that was in them from birth before they were ever placed in their mother's womb. Because I can remember,
I agree.
I mean, I can remember making popcorn balls with my cousin and selling them at school, with the Carol syrup and the sugar and stuff, and then I probably have sold some of everything you could think of, Isha. You know, everybody said, "I want Cynthia, what you selling now? You can sell anything from jewelry to Tupperware to Amway to, all these different things." So I think when you embody like doing things, having that free spirit to where you don't fit in somebody else's box, I think that's who you are, and then you connect with other people that's doing what you want to do at the next level. So if I'm wanting to do like Famous Amos and sell cookies, then I need to go to like first, how did he get started and who did he connect with and how did he package it? And, so I've got to seek out what it is that I want to do, and then find someone that I connect with. Like, some of the things for myself I can say is I connected with Lisa Nichols for a long time because I could understand being a single parent, and because I was a single parent at one time. So you connect with like spirits and people that are, again, at the top of their game or at least a level above you. They may not even be at the top, they just be a level above you to help you to get to that next step, and that's where a business coach would come in handy and a mentor would come in handy. And then being part of uh, organizations like GCBN and NACWE, they have been totally beneficial for me to be around like-minded people, other entrepreneurs, and then their skill sets kind of rub off. How you be around other people, they kind of rub off. When my housekeeper comes, I get more motivated about cleaning. When she's not here, I kind of let stuff go. But when she comes, I get motivated and then I start doing stuff that she's not going to do. And I'm motivated to do it because she brings an energy in that empowers me to do something that I don't normally do. I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you're around people that's their gifting and they do it with joy, you know,
Absolutely.
right? When people do stuff with joy, and I even think about Bev's daughter Jessica. She serves with so much joy. She's like it's like it energizes her. And so whatever that is that energizes a person that is an entrepreneur or not, and that's an area of weakness that you want to develop, you want to get with that person that person that loves numbers and love doing financials, get with that person. That's why I'm in NACWE. I'm connecting up with people that love that kind of stuff. So that it can, I can at least glean some basics and some fundamentals to move my life forward.
And
And just-
Cynthia, I think too, that also goes downward. So like when you've not arrived, we never really arrive, but when you're learning something, to teach that down to people who are where you were 5 years ago or 3 years ago, and reciprocating that. And it may be where you have to seek those people out. Because I remember with Beth, just she does this very well. Like she sees things in people that maybe they don't see in themselves yet. And so to be that person for somebody, to be able to give them either the tools or the opportunity or the encouragement, or just pushing that down as well.
Absolutely. I think, and I call that business tree, because we have businesses and we're all ministers, even if we just have the ministry of reconciliation. And so, again, you get to mentor younger, the older teach the younger. Same thing with our skill sets. We're always, trying and helping. So absolutely, Lisa, absolutely. I agree 100%.
And a plug for the Transformation Tuesday calls. If you're a GCBN member or a sponsor, you can come here, share, and let others glean as well. So be on the lookout if Rose has reached out to you, take that step. And sometimes it may be uncomfortable to come on and do a 40-minute presentation or whatever, but you can do it. We can do hard things.
It takes faith. It takes faith. Because again, this is my first time doing this. I'm excited to do it, but I felt like it was a safe place to learn, and a safe place to share. So, hey, I'm one of the first ones to, from what was it, October or November of the last year, and here we are just in April, the beginning of April. I would have never thought I'd be part of this platform so soon, and so I'm thankful for that opportunity. But by the same token, you have preparation to go into it, and then you end up having more notes than you need, and then you got, all this pile of stuff because you want to make sure that people get something of value. The whole thing is adding value, and for someone to benefit. Yeah, so the faith that moves forward is courage, it's tenacity, and it's doing it afraid, and it's trusting your gut and trusting your word, the word in you, and trusting God along the way, and aligning yourself with people that you feel safe with, so that because none of us are perfect, we're all going to make mistakes, we're all going to stumble along the way. Uh, Mozart didn't create his first stuff when he first started out, right? Um, all the people that we know that have that we love and support, or pay to go see, they didn't start out there. They had to start out someplace. I think about my grandsons. They when I send videos, because I was practicing sending videos to my grandsons, and one of my grandsons said, "Grandma, you said a whole bunch of times."
Out of the mouths of babes, they humble us.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, but I had to choose. Am I going to let the ums hold me captive? Or am I going to do it with the ums until they get less? Right? And so that's where I am today. Faith is something that, again, is invisible, but it's everything that we hope for. And we know that there's more for us. And there's a greater plan above, our four and no more. Because why? We're created in the image and likeness of God, and everything He made was good. And we can have whatever we say. Our words are powerful. And as we start speaking over our businesses, that's another thing that I would say to entrepreneurs, is to speak well of your business as you speak well of yourself, and call those things that be not as though they were. So I may not see my 5 clients, but I can sure talk to them and say, Lord, I thank you for my 5 clients. I thank you for divine connections. I thank you. I'm going to meet when I go uh, to Publix today. I'm going to run into just the right person. Let me say the right thing that we can connect and I can get them on a clarity call. Those are ways that we can, do. And same thing with whatever the business is. Whatever your business is, speak well of it and then call those things that be not as though they were. And then stand on the word. Stand on the word because God's word does not return unto him void. My word will return void to you, but God's word does not return void. So you can get those promises. There are so many promises in the word that we can stand on and we can take, it doesn't take a lot. Get 1 or 2, 3 scriptures, stand on those 3 scriptures and keep standing on them and keep hearing them and keep saying them. Why? Faith comes by hearing. And that I've got, okay, this is my vision. I got my vision before me. It's on my refrigerator. It's on my mirror in my bedroom, whatever. But keep your vision in front of you and then declare and decree what you want that business to look like and what you want to look like. And find people that are already doing it. We don't have to, there's nothing new under the sun. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's like just connect with the person that's doing what you're doing. And even if sometimes it takes faith to even make that phone call, somebody that's like, that's doing something and you may have heard something that gives you confirmation. I don't know if you've ever been in a large room or even in church and you hear something and it's like, I just studied that last week, and it's like, it's God's way of affirming that. I call them God winks. It's a way of affirming that you're right where you need to be. So even in the midst of it, sometimes you'll hear from a large platform exactly what you've been studying or exactly what's on your heart. I see that's landing with some of you. And it's like, wow, okay, so I am connected to the true vine for real, for real. And so these are good, are great things. Yeah, so that's pretty much, is there something else? Does anybody have any questions? Are there any questions in the chat?
We do not have questions over on the Facebook side, but we do have some good affirmations and things over there that are like, yes, right on point. So, Cynthia, God shines bright within you. I don't know. I'm so glad I got to meet you today. I don't know if we've met before, maybe on the Facebook side, but I'm so glad that you came today because I would not have known that this was your first presentation. I just wouldn't have known that. You did amazing. And I think of, I have to say this, I think of Jessica Banner and Fern Sapp, right? Both are great in their own rights, but they took a leap of faith and stepped out and build this brand, right? That they're doing. And you guys have seen them. I think Jessica spoke, I think they both spoke at NACWE at the anniversary, but then also they're on their own pages. And I know that we've seen them. Jessica is our Living Well Wednesday, one of our Living Well Wednesday hosts. She's a counselor and a pastoral counselor. And for caregivers, they have built this podcast and written a motivational book. And I just say that because even within my own self, there are things that God wants me to do that I haven't stepped out yet. And Cynthia, you've mentioned that, like, we do it afraid. We go out, we take the step, we put our foot in the water, and we have to be able to be brave and to be able to see that. If you went to God Golf and Girls, you've seen Fernie, you've seen Jess, Jess from Living Well Wednesday and Wellness Wednesday, Fern from speaking on the platform, and for them to be able to take that and run with it, right? You see the Living Well Wednesday team or the Wellness Wednesday team writing the book, right? Wells of Wisdom. Being able to see that laid out, it's not magical. It's that they were bold and brave and they took a step, right? And sometimes we just have to take the step when we don't see, when we are afraid, when we're not sure. And like Cynthia said, we may need to tap into somebody, reach out to somebody else's faith and hold on to their faith until your faith is stronger, right? And so, Cynthia, you did such a great job today. I'm so thankful that you came on platform. I'm going to do some announcements. If you guys have any questions for Cynthia, you still have time to share those on the Facebook side and or even over here on Zoom. If you're on LinkedIn, I've forgotten about you. I'm so sorry, but I'll check that as well. And then we can police that again and go back and look through. But I want to share our announcement. So I did mention at the top of the call on Wednesday, the 8th, Beth is going to be speaking at TIC, which is Simonton Road Southwest in Lawrenceville. That's at 7:30. She's going to be talking about shift. There is a champion within you. And Beth has the gift of calling things out that God has shared with her, or just she's seeing the gifts that you have, and she calls those out, and it's so amazing. And I want to be like her one day. And so she's going to be speaking on that at TIC. So check that out, put it on your calendar, show up. It would be awesome if there was a house full of people that are from GCB and in NACWE there supporting her. I just think that would be so cool. We have a GCBN quarterly networking opportunity for you. So that's going to be April 18th. It's going to be at Cornerstone Co-working, which is in Lawrenceville, Georgia, 9:30 to 12:30. We have Phyllis Breach, and she's on the call today. And we also have James Cox. Both of them are going to be coming and speaking on vision. And Cynthia mentioned vision. We've talked about vision, but what does that look like? Do you need to revive your vision? Do you need to realign your vision? They're going to be talking about the power of vision on that quarterly meeting. Now, it is a quarterly meeting for members, but we do have an opportunity for non-members to come at a members will have a discounted rate. Non-members would have the retail rate. So check that out, and I'll post the links for those as well. I would be totally remiss if I did not mention God Golf and Girls. You've probably heard us talk about this on the platform. You've heard us talk about it all over the place. It is live. We are registering and taking registrations right now. Early bird, I think, is over. So if you missed that, I'm sorry. I missed it too. We'll just miss it together. But it is available on our website, gcbnetwork.com. You can go there, and there's a tab at the top that says GGG 11. Yes, 11 years of God Golf and Girls. It is a time of golf, but it's not the whole entire weekend. So if you did like I did when I was first invited, and I'm like, I don't golf, because that just tells you how close-minded I was. I don't golf. Go. Be part of it. Maybe you can't make it for the whole weekend. There are day tickets opportunities. There are multiple day tickets, but it's Friday to Sunday. There is a piece of golf in there, but really that golf piece, and the girls can tell you, it's like a couple hours out of the whole entire weekend. So Friday night, we have a beautiful opportunity to meet. It's in a tranquil venue. It just gives you an opportunity to let your hair down, relax, and be prepared for the event. Saturday is transformational. Transformational. And so there's different speakers throughout the conference that come and help you transform your business. You're in spiritual and in your business, right? In your life and in your business. And so we have breakfast, we have lunch, we have, there have been several times that we went out back around a fire and we talked by the pool. Connections are made, but you have to put your foot out there and make those connections too, right? So be brave and talk to people, but that is available for you to register now. At conference, there are 8 growth opportunities that we work through, professionally, personally, physically, financially, relationally, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So you're going to see all of those 8 facets built within this conference. And it's really an awesome opportunity. There's some videos out there. There's some photos that you can check out on our Facebook page, as well as on our GCBN website. So gcbnetwork.com. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Let me just run back to the homepage really fast. You can find this information on the website, gcbnetwork.com. I mentioned the quarterly networking event. Friday, the first Friday of every month, we have the First Friday New Nugget. And last Friday was our first Friday. So you can go back and revisit that call. Vanessa Griffin Gamage was the one that came and spoke. She's amazing. She's been part of our organization as long as I've been part of it. She's a veteran. She comes with a wealth of knowledge. So check that call out. Tomorrow, Living Well Wednesday. That call, we have different speakers that come and that are hosts for that platform. And it's to help you be well in life and business. And we want you living well, right? Because when you're well in life and you're well physically and you're well mentally, then your business is going to be thriving as well. And so that's really where we want to help emphasize and focus. So anyway, I think those are all the announcements. You can also check our events out on Facebook. If you have questions, you can email us info@gcbnetwork.com. And we're glad that you came today. Don't forget, check in tomorrow on Living Well Wednesday. And Cynthia, I'm gonna give you one more opportunity to share with us a nugget, whatever that looks like, whatever God's told you to tell us. And then if you guys have any questions or you need anything, however we can help you, let us know. We're here for you.
Well, faith that expects the incredible. Faith that expects the incredible. It's like it's beyond you. Faith to move forward is expecting the incredible. Faith to move forward is to see it on the inside so it can manifest on the outside. I got to see it on the inside first. And then my focus is what keeps me aligned, and forgiveness keeps me free. Faith moves me forward, focus keeps me aligned, and forgiveness keeps me free.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I'm going to drop the link for you to be able to connect with Cynthia. I didn't want to forget to do that. I'll put it on the Facebook side as well, so you guys can to find that and connect with her. This will go to her website. And then Cynthia, if you have an opportunity to share your Facebook, whatever links you want us to connect with, probably on your website as well.
Everything's on my website.
Sorry. Yeah. So you guys can find her there. So that is all that we have today. Thank you so much for joining us. Cynthia, thank you so much for such a powerful call. This is one that you're going to want to go back and listen. You said so many amazing nuggets. I don't even realize if you know the nuggets that you shared. Like, I'm sure you do. You have notes, but I'm just saying it might even be cool for you to go back and you'll be like, that's awesome. Because I'm already going to put this on my replay list. And I was trying to write down some of the things on the Facebook side to capture them, but it was great. So thank you so much for that. And we will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Where do
Bye,
we
guys.
find the recording?
What's that?
Where do we find the recording if we want to listen to it again?
Sure. Yeah. So if you go to Facebook, you can go to Georgia Christian Business Network.
Okay.
It is there, and I'll drop it here in the chat as well. It'll pop up right fast.
It was a pleasure, Cynthia. You did great.
Oh, thank you, Connie.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Connie. I'm going to put this right here for you. And if you click that, it'll take you right to our Facebook page.
Okay.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.